And she brought forth a man child, who was to rule all nations. Who is going to rule all nations? Yahweh Mashiach, Abraham, David, Isaac, Jacob, right? Isaiah, right? Right? You got to keep in mind. You see what I'm saying? It say, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was cut up unto Yahweh. Amashiach was cut up with the Most High, man. Amashiach was cut up with the Most High. And to his throne, Yahweh Mashiach. Okay, let's jump. Verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, West Africa. As we know, Joseph, he fled into what? North Africa, which is what? Egypt, from the face of Edom, from the face of the so-called white man or white people. Okay, so nothing new under the sun, man. It happened in the time of our forefather. It happening again. So, Herod trying to kill Amashiach, the Most High one, Joseph in a dream, take Amashiach and flee to where? In the wilderness, Egypt. He went in the wilderness in Egypt. So, when we fled from the face of the dragon, the serpent, Edom, okay, where did our forefather fled to? They fled into West Africa. Because when you take a look on the map, you realize that West Africa is all green. Wilderness. And nobody was dwelling in West Africa when our forefather went over there. It's only 3 or 4 countries that were inhabited in the whole continent of Africa. Keep in mind. Only 4 countries. You have Libya, Ethiopia, Egypt, and part of war. Kenya. That's it. West Africa was empty. The Most High set up what? Spirit, angel, cherubim watching over that area. Because the Most High know we will be kicked out from the land. And we're going to be dwelling among who? The other nation. Same thing happened with Northern Kingdom. This land, America, whether it be north, south, east, the Caribbean, were reserved in the wilderness, and no one was living there. The word wilderness, you got to keep in mind, is a place where no man liveth. Is a place where no man liveth. Wilderness, it got many meaning. Wilderness was empty. There was no life there yet. Just keep in mind. So the Most High is giving us understanding. So that's the wilderness. Like Latin America. Okay. You say, well, let's read it. And the woman fled into the wilderness. You see, into West Africa, into America, Latin America. As our forefather Joseph, he fled into Egypt from the face of the red dragon. Okay. Where she had a place prepared of Yahweh. Where he has a place prepared of the Most High Yahweh. Amen, hallelujah, amen, hallelujah. Because the Most High foreknew, he know we're going to be kicked from the motherland. For the prophecy to be fulfilled, since we sin against the Most High. So the Most High reserved Azareth, or the land known as America today, the land known as Africa today, we mainly West Africa, because we could not set up in Libya, because there will be war between us and the Libyan. Okay, we could not have settled in Ethiopia, because the Ethiopian going to fight us. That's the main reason why the Most High reserved a place for us. Okay, he said, where she had a place prepared of Yahweh, of the Most High. Okay, that they should feed her there. They're going to feed Israel, Yasharallah, Jacob. Okay, feed her 1,200 days. Okay, okay, okay. So 1,000 days, or 1 day is 1,000 years before the Most High. Keep in mind. Okay, so everybody get the point, right? Right. So that's the point. So let's go back to the article. Okay. We're going to go back to this article. Let's read it. So I just want to prove it. It take me, so many precepts to just precept. All right. When we operate on the Most High, we were able to do it. Let's keep on going. He said, Chinese Communist Party officials have unveiled an action plan for cooperation. They're saying they're going to cooperate, right? They're putting in quotation mark, okay, with Latin America country that amount to a comprehensive plan to influence the region and threaten U.S. interests following a new summit with the nearest neighbors of the United States. So pretty much, the Chinese, they already took over Africa. Don't waste your time. They already took over Africa. They're everywhere in Africa. They're buying land. Meanwhile, our people cannot, even though they got money. Ask one of our people, ask one so-called black man or so-called Nigerian, so-called Cameroonian or Bonini that got money. Ask them if they can go to China with their money and buy a land and set up business in China. Ask them that. Can they do it? They can't do it. They cannot do it. But our people, they'll let the enemy come over and take over. You go to Ghana, they set up in Ghana a Chinese as a king. I'm not joking. They done that a couple months ago. They set up a Chinese, no, I think it's Zambia or Zimbabwe, they done the same thing. They set up a Chinese as a king. Our people wicked, man. Can they set up one of our people as a king in China? Never. It will not happen. It will not happen. Can that happen? But our people simple. Our people blind, man. Our people wicked, man. Just for the money, the belly. So, they already took over Africa. Because our leader back in Africa, they're wicked. None righteous in Africa. The leader over there, they're super wicked. I'd say super wicked. I was born and raised in Africa. I tell you straight up. Okay, so I know what's up. I know what I'm talking about. They're wicked. They don't teach the Lord the commandment of the Most High. Okay, it's all about their family, their belly, their money, their business. They don't, man, wickedness, man. Wicked. Last time they got a summit with China, where the president of China, Xi Jinping, he stayed in China and had a video conference with them. Foolishness, man. Weakness. How can you say you consider me and you stay in China and you talk with us? What kind of weakness is that, man? What kind of friendship is that? Who treats his friend like that? What kind of friend? If you love your friend, you are in good agreement with your friend, you go see your friend regardless the situation, regardless what's going on. That's what friend do to friend. Good friend. And you're running around talking about friend. Okay, no, man, we don't believe that. It's all weakness. And the Most High prepare you blood. The Most High, He prepare unto you blood, man. That's all. And we're going to prove it. Let's go right here. He said the Chinese don't say, we want to take over Latin America. They are not saying that directly, but that's the plan. We know that already. Okay, let me tell you this. I've been to Costa Rica. I've been to Costa Rica 2 times. I've been there twice. And I've seen them over there. They have Chinatown in Costa Rica. Chinatown. Okay. Do Costa Ricans, do the Tico, our people in Costa Rica, do they have a Costa Rica town in China? No. You go to Nicaragua, they got Chinatown. You go to El Salvador, they're all over the place. They learn from Esau, Edom. Because Esau conquer everybody. That red dragon, that 4th beast, they conquer that eagle, they conquer the whole world. Now, they show the way to the Chinese. And the Chinese doing the same thing. But guess what? The Chinese, they won't be able to make it. The Most High, He's going to cut them off. We'll see. Let's read it. He said the Chinese don't say we want to take over Latin America, but they clearly set out a multi-dimensional engagement strategy, which, if successful, will significantly expand the leverage and produce enormous intelligence concern for the United States. So pretty much, it's the Most High moving the spirit upon the Chinese, okay, to come and take over Latin America some way, so they can rebel against Babylon the Great. Because Babylon the Great is the United Snake of America. Babylon the Great, keep in mind. So the Most High, He's allowed, because all this is for the fall of Babylon the Great. Why Ababa? It's for the fall of Babylon the Great. It's all about the fall. So whether you believe it or not, okay, whether you believe it or not, it's all about the fall of Babylon the Great. So the Most High is setting up, right, how do you call it? he's setting up the pole. You know, the Most High, he's setting up the thing. You know, he said, okay, I want you to come and move out here, set up this agenda over there, do this, do that way. Yeah, because this land is oppressing everybody. Babylon the Great is oppressing the whole world. So the Most High, he balances, okay? So the Most High, he moved the spirit on the Chinese that are wicked to balance what Esau, Edom, in Babylon the Great, America is doing throughout the fucking of this earth. You see, it's all about balance. That's why the Most High set up this Russian, this Edom and Russian, okay? Some of them are Asian, some of them are Edom. The Most High set them up to balance the power, man. The Most High is against a false balance. The Most High balance everything. He create light and he create darkness. The Most High balance. So the Most High need the Russian and he need the Chinese to balance, to equilibrate. So when somebody's going off, the other person can. You see what I'm saying? That's how the Most High operates. And you got to be in the spirit to understand this thing. This is not for anybody to understand. You got to be in the spirit. And the Most High got to call you. You got to be chosen. Oh, you cannot understand. You cannot, brother. You cannot. You cannot. Let's keep on. So let's read it. He say, U.S. Army War Collie Research Professor Evan Ellis, a former member of the State Department Policy Planning Staff, told the Washington Examiner. Chinese officials outlined their ambition following a summit with the community of Latin American and Caribbean states. You see? So it's not just Latin America, the Caribbean. They just had it with our people in West Africa. They just have a big summit like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago where in Senegal, right, China, and all the African countries, they had a summit. Same thing they're doing over there, man. Same thing they do. The Most High is setting them up. Because the Most High know that they're going to do evil to us. They're going to kill us off. They're going to poison our food. They're going to do all type of weakness, right? They're going to bring abominable food into our country, into our land, just to defile us, to kill us. The Most High know that the Chinese will do it just as Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, has done it. The Most High already know. So that's why the Most High makes sure that he gave them those jobs. So they got to do. Their job is to do evil. Is asked to use wisdom and understand. You see, our warfare is not physical. It's a spiritual warfare. Okay? It's in the spirit. Okay? We don't need no gun, no weapon, no sword. No. We don't need that. We only need the Bible. The sword that you need, if you don't have it, you sell your coat to go buy, is the Bible, brother. It's the Bible. It's not talking about you go buy a gun. You're wasting your time. Your gun ain't going to do anything to Esau. Understand that? Esau is not scared because you have a gun or you got some knife, some machete. Esau ain't scared of that. Esau can take that away from you anytime. And he doesn't need to come to your house. Esau can stay in his office and send a drone and destroy your whole house, kill your family, and your gun will still be there lying on the floor and you won't be able to do anything. Keep that in mind. You got to rely on the Most High. Remember our forefather? In Egypt, did they lift up any sword against the Egyptian? Did they? No. So I don't know why today a lot of our people, they're promoting gun. Well, you know, you got to protect yourself. You got to do this, blah, blah, blah. You got to have this gun here, blah. And that's why we got, in some of the camp, the brother, he shot himself. A brother, he manipulated the gun wrongfully and he shot his own fool or whatever he done. Hey, the Most High is warning you, man. This battle is not in strength. It's not by strength. It's not you. It's the Most High that does the war. That's what we read in the book of Exodus 15:3. 15 verses 1 all the way down to 5 or even 10. Exodus 15. Exodus chapter 15. The Most High Yahweh is a man of war. The chariot of Pharaoh has he thrown into the water and destroyed them. So the Most High doesn't need you to grab a weapon, a gun when you know. It's not about that. You won't be able to fight. Who can you fight? Let's suppose that there is a war where all these politicians, they start doing it. What can you do? What is the army of the so-called blacks? We don't have it. So what is the point you wasting your time? You got to trust in the Most High Yahweh. You keep the commandment. It's not about gun, man. Like I told you, Esau, you can have all your gun. Guess what? Esau send a baby drone over your house, destroy your whole house, put you to death, your family, everything, and your gun will be still lying right there. You see? So don't work that way. Don't operate that way. You operate in the spirit. You pray. Okay, when you see the attacks coming, you pray, you ask the Most High, you fast. That's what you got to do. You ain't gotta go here. I gotta do. Oh, let's go get. Let's learn how to do martial art. Blah, 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 let's fight. We go. No, they ain't gonna save you. Okay, use that time to go on the street, on the highway, on the byway, and teach the brother. Teach the brother on the highway, on the byway, man. Let the brother and the sister know that's the Most High. Go in the market. Stop right before a store. If the Most High allow you, man, and bring out the precept, man. Let the brother know you can't make video, man. Make so many things and teach your brother. Instead of you wasting your money, use your money to do something good, man. Don't buy no gun. You don't need that, brother. You don't need it. You don't need it. The Most High is our warrior. He's the only one. Our forefather from Egypt, they did not lift up any sword, anything from the Egyptian. Did they put a sword on the Egyptian for the Egyptian to give them like how do you say, jewelry and the gold, all this cattle, all this? Did they do that? Did they put anything? Did they first? No. The Most High put our dread upon them, upon the Egyptian. And what did they do? They let our people take whatever they want. They let them borrow. The Most High told them, borrow whatever you want, take it. Don't worry. You see, our people didn't fight them. They didn't force them. They didn't call the police. If it's here, you call the police. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And you freaking out. No. Our people, they have faith. Look, they just obey what